You're strapped in and ready to go.
Strapped on? What? Wait, what?
I mean,
What?
I can put one on a
Zero.
wish list.
Why does Zero have to go there every time? Why must you drag us down into the sewer? Zero? Why? What? You are... I can't even do this. No, I'm the worst one by far. I know
I
it.
was about to say.
No, I don't think you're the worst.
I defy you.
Well, yeah, the sausage man isn't here, so no one's the worst.
Leetness is not here, so.
Oh, shit, you're right, yeah.
The man who enjoys putting his sausage in everybody's mouth.
The man who... Oh, yeah, everybody congratulate Linus. He won money on the UFC fights.
Good for him.
Yep.
Nope, of course.
And that's the end of that. Yeah, Linus just smiled. He's like, yeah, I did. And then we all just saw it dead, and he was like, oh, I did. Oh, well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Church of Chonkwij podcast. I've forgotten what my original name was. I'm joined by OmegaConstruct, Masami, and Squidmaster Flex, aka Zero Burn. And it's been a fantastic week for gaming, people. It's been a great week.
Yes, it has.
For a whole myriad of reasons. First of all, everybody can already hear the music in the background, but that lovely music is coming from a free game on Epic. I've forgotten what the name of it is, but Omega picked it up and started playing it, and it is
called 100 Days. And it is a winemaking simulator. And it's actually got like a little story that you kind of play along with in the campaign mode. And you make yourself a little winery and start with a single vineyard, and you can start buying ones around you and growing different types of wines. And currently harvesting my Herbaluce grapes, currently in the year 2052. Time goes by very fast in this game. So just harvest those. Let's go ahead and give them a crush.
Now, where are you in terms of the RP or your relationships in this game? Because as we left it,
Okay, so where I'm at right now, I'm basically done with all that, and I'm just in the sort of end game of churning through making wine every year. The story is over at this point.
Oh, that's so sad. Did you
basically at economic simulator mode? Did
you ever reconcile your forbidden love with what's her face?
Oh yeah, we totally scissored.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you had a happy ending there. But yeah, no, the story was delightful there for a little while. You met one lady who you apparently had a hot night of passion with at a conference years ago, and then you met her kind of Santa Claus-like friend, or her. He was more creepy than Santa Claus. And then there was the grumpy guy, and those are the only characters that I ever saw.
Yeah. So just fermented my anise. Oh, I got some special orders that I can make.
Anyway, it's always nice to find a... This is probably not a game. Would you say that this is a game that you're going to put 100 hours into?
I mean, maybe. It might be the kind of game that's a lot of fun to really get into, because it seems like there could be... Like, there's a lot of little mechanics that you can kind of pay attention to. It's not very... there's not a whole lot for you to do. It's more like just making the right decisions as you do them. I don't know if that makes any sense. But, no, it's probably not going to be something that I play forever. But for a free game from Epic, it's a pretty nice diversion.
Yeah, I do enjoy when that happens, when they have small games that come out.
Yeah, I got currently have 4 vats full of wine that have been harvested so far this season. And then here's all the bottles. Actually, I can get rid of some of these that I have in my cellar. All my different wines over the different vintages. Though here's all the different orders that I'm selling. I'm selling a lot to restaurants, making a lot of money off restaurants. and a lot of smaller customers here as well. But oh yeah, it's got graphs.
Oh God. Oh, I love graphs.
So you can see my cash has gone up very rapidly. But yeah, there's my income graph. Herbaluce is not Herbaluce, which is that's my total income. There we go. What's my big seller this year? Chardonnay. This was a good year for Chardonnay.
It's always a good year for Chardonnay. Anyway, yeah, Linus, you should pick up this game if you haven't already picked this game up. Linus is is Linus the wine aficionado of our group? Do any of you drink wine?
I don't drink wine. I think it tastes like fermented piss, but I also drink beer, so.
I like wine, but I am not a wine drinker, if that makes any sense.
Masami?
I like wine. I'm just not like super, like I'm not gonna be a bottle a day like Lee does. But I like a glass.
One bottle.
I will say, I don't have any right now, but I have my best is a 97. I've made a couple hundred rated wines. It's pretty cool. Like there's a whole journal. Like this is my first one was barbaric grapes, and as you make different each vintage each year, they fill in this graph of whatever you get, and eventually you find which are the perfect values for that wine. So like I figured out Barbara, I figured out Chardonnay. I haven't barely started growing this one yet. I figured out Arnis. I'm still working on getting the sweetness of my Dolcetto up, but I am having a hard time getting the tannins high enough without over fermenting it, which drops the sweetness. I've just started. I don't even know if I have Cortez planted yet. I've figured out what's good on Gringolino, but I haven't. I know it's Grinolino, but I see Gringo every time I look at that.
Grindelwald.
Haven't been able to make that one quite perfectly. But at Herbaluce, even though I haven't quite figured out the right body or acidity values, that one has actually been selling really well. Like I think that might be one of my best right now is an Herbaluce. Acidity's not right, but it's a 97 out of 100. Faint flavors of honeydew melon. It's strong. It's a strong wine too. That's 15%er.
I don't understand what any of this means, but wait, volume 50%. So that's the alcohol content.
Yeah, that's the alcohol by volume or like percentage.
Okay, I understand that. That's
like
what I look
Chardonnay's
for on
lower.
alcohol bottles. Man, when I never actually had a proper proper ABV test when I was making beer, but I swear that one beer that I made was like 30 proof. It's not impossible to do with a beer. Actually, it's pretty easy to do with a beer, but the problem is that the flavor usually gets off. You start having problems with flavor. You could have a metallic taste, for example.
Yeah,
it sounds like you get rough.
You get over 10-12% alcohol content, and it starts tasting like trash.
Yeah, it definitely can. I have had there are certain breweries that I know of. There's one that's put out. It's a it's not Bavarian. Whatever. There's a certain label that I know of that's commercially sold that is about 14%, and it tastes real good. But I have no fucking idea how they do it. It's probably a pain in the ass to make.
There's a place here locally that brews a 15%, 15 or 16%, and they add like really heavy stuff to it. Like I think it's their Reese peanut butter cup flavored.
Ah, yeah, so a very strong flavor would probably undercut some of the nasty.
Yeah. So, but it's really good.
Reese's peanut butter flavored beer. I've never thought about that before. I don't think I'd like that. I love Reese's peanut butter cups, but
my
drinking
buddy Sean, from high school, actually owns the brewery, and yeah, he's pretty good at what he does.
Darn tootin'. I'd love to. Excuse me. I'd love to work in a brewery. Actually, no, that's not true. I wouldn't want to work in a brewery. I'd get fired pretty immediately from working in a brewery because I would have to taste test everything.
Yeah, right.
Just have a little drinky poo to make sure that it tastes good.
He offered me a sales job, but I'm just not. I just can't. I can't bring myself to it. I can't bring myself to go back into sales.
You want to go around? What? Do you not like having doors slammed in your face?
It's not that. It's the fact that I'm making way more money now on hourly than I ever made in sales.
Yeah, also that. I could never get past doors slammed in face. I'm too sensitive for that. As you all know, I have a very delicate, whatever it's called.
Sensibility?
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that.
Prostate?
Also, yes.
Prostate.
I don't know.
Right.
This is completely off topic. I got into a discussion today about fecal tests, testing for colon cancer, and how basically a rapid analysis test could identify whether or not you have any precursor or any direct happening symptoms of colon cancer before you actually get a colonoscopy, before they become visible. And it's poop is fascinating. I'll say that. That's what I got out of the conversation. Poop is very interesting. How did we start talking about this?
I was gonna say I don't know how our conversation has devolved into this, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, okay, fine. Speaking of poop, anyway, it's been 12 minutes. Warframe. We have to talk about Warframe. And poop has to do with Warframe, but
is there a shitty situation we've got to discuss?
Thank you.
Acceptable.
That is correct, Masami.
Were you fishing? You were fishing for that shit, weren't you?
Slightly.
Okay.
Oh, anyway,
Continue.
So what's going on in Warframe, Doc?
Excuse me while I completely fuck up OBS. So, Warframe, going to focus on the positive. We're going to start with the positive, rather. Veilbreaker update came out, and it's it's great. Most of it is, like I said, 99% of it is great. And this is the start of the a new series of missions, actually it's more standing that you can go through. So we're bringing back Call, our good boy Call from the new war, and he's back, and there's currently up a mission that everybody can do. There's a new quest rather that everyone can do, and we get to go see Call, get to check in with him. What's he doing these days? And it's great. And without getting to spoilers, there will be, in future updates, there will be call-specific missions, and there will be call-specific standing, and it's looking like a lot of fun. So that was the headline of this. If you want to go back and you want to play as this badass Grenier dude, who everybody loves because he's adorable, second only to Clem, you can totally do it now.
Are you saying it's going to be a Call of the Wild?
I sincerely hope so. And wait, Masami, have you played the quest?
No, I have not.
Oh, goddamn, that pun is so appropriate, but spoilers.
Well,
okay.
you know me.
I do, yes. Okay, so anyway, that's Call. The Veilbreaker update was enormous. It also came with the 50th Warframe called Styanax. He's okay. Omega's played around with him. He's good.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. I actually like what they did with the design quite a bit. It's not. It reminds me actually a lot of Excalibur. I was talking to Doc about this. It feels like a frame that you want to use the skills a lot frequently. They are useful, but it's not just an overpowered kill frame or lockdown CC frame. Like you can do a lot of cool skill stuff, and it encourages active gunplay, melee battle, like getting in and mixing it up. It's got some survivability issues because it doesn't really have any inherent like super tanky ability buffs or like super tanky defensive buffs, I should say. But it is in a little bit that I've done Steel Path viable, at least in general killing. I was 50-50 for killing the acolytes that come after you. But it's fun. It's good Warframe.
Yeah, so that's a nice addition. Okay, so
he's free. Anybody here
Yes.
who hasn't gotten it for free yet, log into Warframe and just get him for free.
Well, they fixed it.
All you have to do is log. Yeah, they did actually turn it off because they had a bug where multiple multiple communications were being sent to people's inboxes, so you got multiples of the frame, which was not necessary. But yeah, they have fixed that. All you have to do is log in, and the next time that you log in, you will get something in your inbox that just delivers him, and he comes with a Warframe slot, and he comes with a potato.
Nice.
So yeah, it's really nice. 50th Warframe Styanax giveaway. And this offer expires September 21st. So you got like 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. But yeah, let's see. I said 99% positive. The 1% that's not positive is that Styanax's signature weapons, as well as the remainder of Call's stuff, is not out yet. It's due to come out in a future update. But that's just a matter of waiting. If people have patience, that's not a problem at all.
It's due out this week. They said it would only take a week.
Right.
So, it's not a long wait.
So we will look forward to that.
It's a good thing they don't have patience, because I'm not sure everyone's qualified to be doctors.
It's just me, basically.
I mean, really, you're the only one.
I'm not a doctor. People, please stop sending me tweets. I don't, and especially the pictures. I don't know if it's a rash or if you just go to your local doctor. That's what I have to say, and stop DMing me. Not you guys specifically, other people.
Also, you don't want the feet pics anymore. The rash
Really?
has cleared up now.
I do want, that's different. I do want the feet pics, but those can go in just general chat.
Gotcha.
The feet pics are for everyone, because Doc is a generous god.
That's true. Lena still hasn't sent me any goddamn feet pics. Lena, stop being so stingy. He knows what he did. All right.
If he's really generous, he'll put on socks and strappy sandals and send us pics of those.
Oh, dad feet?
We could
right.
definitely set up. We could set up another section on the OnlyFans that's exclusive for dad feet. Start branching out, having multiple foot fetishes on our OnlyFans page. I think that's a step in the right direction.
We don't want to put all of our feet in the same basket.
All right, I'll give it to you. But okay, yeah, rank up with Call's Garrison. Call Garrison is going to be where you buy some pretty kick-ass shit. So, yeah, there we go. They actually have all these new mods for the Warframe. The Archon mods. And, fuck yeah, these things look awesome. Now these, Omega, you're saying these 5 Warframe mods are going to be applied directly through the Helmuth?
No, those are just mod cards. There's a new helmet segment that unlocks these shards. I
Oh,
forget the
okay.
name, and you get these shards for completing this new basically consider it like a steel path difficulty sortie that they have once a week, and you're fighting the archons, go through some missions that are basically high steel path difficulty missions, and then you face off against one of the archons in a classic DE doesn't know how to make a boss battle, where their solution to players being so powerful in this game that they can walk in and nuke a boss in a single second, no matter how much their health pool. They introduce damage attenuation, so the more damage you do, the less damage you do. And
That seems counterintuitive.
that sucks. It really sucks. But they don't know how to make a boss. Well, it's not even true. They do know how to make a good boss battle. They've made good boss battles. You have the all the Orb Valis boss battles have mechanics to them, and mechanics are what makes for an interesting boss battle, not a ridiculous amount of health that you buff with a shitty damage attenuation formula. And it's kind of unfortunate, but the reward for these are these Archon shards, which you after you complete the new quest, you get a helmet segment that you can build, and through the helmet you can shove these shards up a Warframe's butt, more or less, and they give you buffs, and they're pretty cool. It's just another. Well, it's funny because what it actually is another layer of power creep that they are adding to this game, making Warframes more powerful again. But it does open up some flexibility with some other things, and it could lead to some. It'll lead to a new meta for sure, but I think it'll also lead to new diversity of ideas with stuff that you weren't maybe able to do before. So we'll see.
Right, so the way, if I'm reading this correctly, the way the Archon missions work, it's surprisingly similar to a sortie. Basically, your reward pool is almost identical to a regular sortie, but you have a guaranteed reward of an Archon shard, and they also sort of threw in some stuff from arbitration in there, because you will be going about these missions, or each weekday, whatever. No, it is a week. Every week there will be a different Warframe that gets a bonus. So the one in this picture, if you use Volt, you get plus 300% power strength, and you get plus 500 health. So that's kind of neat. Mixing in the best parts of sortie and arbitration. Unless you're going after Vitus Essence. But yeah, these are the main features of the new update that are out right now, the new Veilbreaker update, and I guess later this week, we're going to get the rest of it.
Well, I mean, there's one thing that is worth talking about that is low-key one of the biggest parts of the update. They have changed quite dramatically the way armor and armor stripping works in Warframe now.
Yes, now we can get onto some of the technical stuff in the update, and I'm a fan. As soon as Omega explained the whole thing to me, I became a fan of what they have done with armor. So, yes, what have they done with armor?
They have made it so that previously, like, if you had an ability or you did use a weapon or something that did reduced an enemy's armor, say it reduced army by 50%, the first hit would reduce it by 50%. The second hit would reduce the remaining 50% by 50%. So it would asymptotically get closer to zero, but never hit it. That's the right math term, right? Am I remembering that? Asymptote?
Probably.
Approaches
Yes.
the line, but never touches it. But now, it's just additive. So if you hit something with 50% armor reduction once, and then you hit it again, it has 0 armor, because 50 minus 50 is 0. So it's opening up a whole new world of viable warframes for high-level content, because the meta for high-level content, Steel Path stuff, is armor stripping. And now that more warframes can do that, that's going to lead more warframes to being able to do high-level content. And most importantly, they've also lowered the power strength requirements for abilities that strip armor. And there are plenty of warframes now where you don't need to have your total power strength up over 200 some odd percent just to strip armor. And now with these changes, you could have it much lower, hit the button twice, strip all the enemy's armor. The big one's Hildred now. Her pillage ability can strip an enemy's armor in 2 shots. It's great. So I love it. I think it's really cool.
One of the things that got me a half chub when we were talking about this was Frost. I have a build for Frost, which is specifically for armor stripping, and I built it for Steel Path, and Omega and I had a lot of fun. You were playing Boobin, and I was going Frost, so you'd suck all the Steel Path enemies into the ball, basically, and I would strip the armor, and you just whack them once with a melee hit, and they'd all die. It was kind of hilarious. But yeah, anyway, for Frost, this is in the patch notes. So, increased Frost's avalanche armor reduction from 40% to 60%. Nice. And changed the armor reduction to be permanent. So I fucking love that. Not that they stay alive terribly long once their armor is stripped, but it is now permanent. They never get their armor back for Frost's avalanche.
That is a great update.
Yeah, this is pretty great. Omega also turned me on to a Reddit post where somebody did calculations of how much power strength you needed for 100% armor strip if you were running any aura other than corrosive projection, or if you were running with corrosive projection, or if you were running with corrosive projection and whatever the other thing was.
It's a new one of the new arcanes available through the quills. I forget which one it is. It's one of the Molt arcanes that gives you a stacking buff of, it's like 0.4% to your power strength per kill, up to 250 stacks, I believe. So it's basically a building buff of power strength that can replace power strength mods on a Warframe now. So it's kind of acting like arcane, like gun arcanes are for weapons, and
replacing Serration with an arcane.
Yeah, exactly. So they're kind of neat. Also, kind of overpowered.
Just a little bit. But that is part of the reason why I like it. More what I like is that if you want to be overpowered, you now need to focus. You can focus on 3 different things and add those together to get 100% armor strip, or you can do without 2 of the 3, and you can just stack power strength onto your Warframe. So it does open up build diversity. You're not being hindered. All of your old builds will work just fine. In fact, they'll probably work better now, but you don't have to keep Frost power strength at like 200 plus 200% anymore. You can completely get away with 155. And you can still just strip everybody's armor off. Ash is the same way. Ash is the other guy that I love stripping armor with. And Necros. Necros is a fucking beast of an armor stripper now. So, good times. I haven't heard anybody complain about the new armor system, honestly. In comparison to some other stuff that we're about to talk about. But yeah, that was... Yeah, no, I was happy that this change came around, and I'm glad Omega and I could sit down and talk about it on Monday, or on Saturday, Friday, someday.
Yeah.
Time is
And I mean,
meaningless.
like I said, I really hope it does unlock a lot of new build possibilities and build diversities, and kind of revitalizes some frames that are too weak in some ways, or were too weak in some ways. You know, the new shards, the new arcanes. These things could really bring a lot of things out of, you know, kind of the dustbin part of our inventory. But that said, there are always going to be people who are going to take these new arcanes and, you know, take these new shards and still put on all the power strength mods, and they're going to say this is the best way to do it because it's the most powerful and it can kill things the fastest and be the bestest. And you can't please them.
No, you certainly cannot. And speaking of meta players, this came out. I think this update dropped on the 8th, 7th of September, the 8th of September, and immediately following that, this shit happened.
You know, I actually haven't looked at those recently. How are they doing?
Let's see. Mostly negative from. It seems like the reviews.
So I put a link up there somewhere that takes us directly to the reviews page.
Yeah, there's it seems like they got the most on September 9th. That was the biggest day, but it's been petering off since then. It looks like kind of an exponential decay in negative reviews since then. But 2,000 people on September 8th and 3,000 people on or close to 3,000 on September 9th. Just fucking review bombed Warframe on Steam. And you'll see what I have pulled up here. I removed the only your language filter, and look at all of the negative reviews. All of them seem to have something in common. All of them seem to be in one particular language.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I mean,
this...
There's also a couple of Russian ones I saw over the last few days interspersed.
Oh, for sure. There are English reviews buried in here, too. It's just, it seems they're overwhelmingly written in Mandarin.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I take it for what it's worth, but there have been people on the subreddit who have talked about their experience with the Chinese player base and what they're like. And apparently, the Chinese player base very much abides by the meta. And it's the kind of, that's just their gaming culture.
Function over
where,
fun.
yes, it is more important to be efficient than it is to have fun. So that's what it is. And you know, people will quit matches if you are not doing the most efficient way of whatever mission that you're doing. If you're not like staying in the right room on a survival mission, or, you know, it's very very set in their ways of doing it one way and the right way, and everybody likes to get along and do it the right way together. And they nerfed in this update one of the biggest, and this is what most of the complaints are about, is they nerfed Wukong pretty heavily
into the fucking ground.
Only if you're an
player.
AFK, exactly. So yeah, his celestial twin used to last forever and had infinite ammo. So they could literally just build a super powerful Wukong build and let the celestial twin kill everything with infinite ammo with a huge AoE weapon like the Brahma or something of that nature, that is supposed to have bad ammo economy to help balance its power. And so they have both made that ability. So yeah, now your celestial twin has a timer and it shares an ammo pool with you. And if it runs out of ammo, it'll switch to the secondary. And if it runs out of both, it switches to melee. But they've also nerfed the ammo capacity of quite a few explosive AoE weapons, because they said in the dev notes basically that one of the things they look for is like, what is there any meta that has absolutely taken over the game and their usage statistics show that widespread AoE damage weapons are what everybody is using. And they want to, one of their principles is like there should not be any one right way to play the game. If something feels like it is the one right way to play the game, it needs to be fixed. So in come the nerfs, and then comes the review bomb of players who you know are still playing and have not played any fewer hours in over the last 5 days since the update dropped. They're still playing, and it's yeah, it's just it's sad.
So yeah, to recap here, the review bombing on Steam from a mainly Chinese player base is the result of first of all reducing ammo drops, reducing ammo capacity for AoE weapons such as the Brahma or the Tsar, and a result of nerfing Wukong Celestial Twin specifically, because that Brahma plus strong Wukong is the AFK meta. That's the build that people use to hop into a mission and pop Celestial Clone and then just go do something else while their computer plays the game for them. That is no longer possible. I have no problem that's no longer possible. I like that that's no longer possible because it's fucking annoying, honestly. The Brahma especially is just fucking eye cancer because people don't know how to put like dark colors onto their emissions. So whatever, it's just let's have blinding light everywhere.
As ridiculous as the number of negative reviews are, some of the positive reviews are equally as funny. There's one here that says Monkey Man players seething and mauling at the fact they can't AFK the game anymore. Love to see it. Great, great game. Don't believe the review bombers. Somebody actually made an interesting post, or like an in-depth post on the reviews explaining all the negative reviews, and they basically laid out that out of like 400 weapons in the game, one weapon was used by over 50% of the player base, 25% of the player base used another weapon, 10% a third weapon, and the remaining 15% using the other 397 weapons in the game. All three of those main weapons were AoE and dominate the game. And it was obnoxious for anybody to play in a pub match with somebody who had that because they just ran through wiping out entire rooms. And nobody, you're basically just running from the beginning of the level to the end. And that's not fun for anybody, except for the guy who's being the asshole killing everybody. So, yeah, it's a good nerf. And fuck all the haters.
It is a good nerf. And I'll say, when I initially heard that the magazine capacity of the Kuvazar went from 15 to 5, that initially doesn't sound great, but as Omega pointed out, this is really not a problem because they have redone the way that ammo drops work. There's no longer sniper ammo, and primary ammo, and pistol ammo, and I think those were the original three. Oh,
shotgun ammo?
Yeah. Shotgun ammo was another one. Now they've merged all primary ammo into a primary ammo drop. It's now universal. So there's primary ammo drops, there's secondary ammo drops, there's arc gun drops. Then that's the entirety of the pool. So getting 5 shots into my Kuvazar is not a problem. Picking up ammo for my Kuvazar is not a problem, provided that I am moving around. And I use the Kuvazar on Harrow, and Harrow constantly moves around. So for anybody who's actually playing this game, actually engaged in the gameplay, this is not a problem at all.
Nope. It's just an anti-AFK measure.
So the outcry from specifically the Chinese community is totally unwarranted. It's great that you guys were having fun basically not playing the game. I don't know why you were doing that. I don't understand how that's fun, but you can't do that anymore. So the other thing that really fucking confused me is that Warframe has a Chinese specific version. Like the version that we play is not supposed to be available in China.
No, that's the thing. They've merged, like they've standardized versions. That was a big thing. But like I say, they should go even farther. They should just fucking sell the Warframe IP license in China to some Chinese company, wipe their hands of it, and let that market dictate how that game gets developed, because it is clear that that market wants to play the game differently. And, fucking let them.
I didn't realize that they merged the Eastern version of Warframe and the Chinese version of Warframe. I thought that the unification only referred to merging schedules and crossplay with consoles and PC.
That's why the Carmine Penta came in.
Really? That's why they brought that? Okay. Alright. Hadn't realized that, but yeah, now China's super salty. So that was the Warframe update, and I think there is some other stuff to talk about here. Obviously, there are a shit ton of patch notes for this, because as is the style, whenever Warframe comes out with a major update, there is a small encyclopedia attached to it about small changes that they've made.
Oh, they listen every fucking change. They list changes in audio cues from abilities and like voice lines for like boss fights and shit. They put every single note in there. It's hilarious.
They do, yeah. Okay, so two other things. They had initially reduced the reload time on charge weapons, which that actually sucked. Those were not weapons that were overly popular. Those were not one of the 3 main weapons that people used. So the community complained about that. They reversed those changes. That was nice. The other thing that Omega and I are both psyched about, because we've been wanting it for a long time, is Steel Path Void missions. We get Steel Path fissures, so we can crack relics in Steel Path missions, finally.
It's so cool. There's with every relic you also get a steel essence, so there is a reward. Yep. Plus you get the acolytes attacking you, so you can get drops off of them as well. But it's just fun. Like, the game is more fun when the power fantasy feels a little resistance. You don't want to be punching through tissue paper every time. Sometimes you want to punch through a fucking wall when you have the tools to punch through a wall. So they give us walls, and I love Steel Path for that reason. So
yeah, that's the thing. When you have the tools, like you said, when you have the tools to punch through the wall, I appreciate these changes, because yes, players who are not as deep into the game as you or I are not going to feel a lot of the effects of this until later on. There's still going to be, for example, with armor stripping or just Warframe power strength in general, they're going to be pumping power strength onto their Warframes using mods. But people that are deep into the game, who have been playing the game for a long time, or people who are progressing very quickly through the game, are going to have access to new tools so that they can reconfigure their Warframes so that there isn't actually a detriment to anything. You get stronger, but it's because you put a lot of work into it. So I find that rewarding.
Well, one thing that I actually find really interesting, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just having this thought now, is that, like, this update, a lot of these mechanical changes and additions and, the hard missions and all that shit, this is an update for the veterans. And that's kind of hasn't been the philosophy of Warframe's development for a while. And they still added new story that keeps, that pushing forward with the call missions and stuff. But it's not like the past where they once pretty much flat out said on a stream, we gain more players by creating new content than we do fixing old content. So that's where our focus is. And not only are they fixing content, what I'm most excited about these armor changes and some of these other changes that we've been discussing is that they're standardizing mechanics, and that makes everything just more user friendly. Doesn't necessarily make the game easier. It makes more things viable, because the things that were already killing everything are going to keep killing everything. Nothing
so.
other than Wukong AFKers got nerfed in this. So everything that could kick ass still kicks ass. Now there's just more stuff that has the potential to kick ass.
We
which
didn't
is
even
great.
talk about this, but my Excalibur now kicks more ass.
Yeah, they buffed all of the starter frames. Volt, Excal, and Mag got reworks. Nothing huge, but Excal, now there's no cap on the amount of enemies that he spears with his 4 skill. Every single enemy gets hit by a spear. The spears are now bigger and prettier. They improved the animations between his slash dash, changing targets. Just all around improvements and cleanups. Mag, the 1 skill now, it doesn't just pull stuff towards you anymore. It's a little vortex where you point with the mouse, and like it creates a little point vortex to pull stuff in. So that's now more usable in that way. And like uh, I forgot what the Volt changes were, but oh yeah, now you can with Volt you can use your primary and melee weapon while you're holding the Volt shield. Before you can just use your pistol or your secondary. So that's pretty
Yes.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
So like that's cool. They're actually, you know what? Steve's fucking gone. Reb and Pablo are in charge, and this is what we get. Reb, the person who's been listening to the community the longest, takes charge, and what do we get? We get Steel Path Fisher missions. We get content for veteran players, for end game players, that's just there for no more reason than to have fun. It lets us start our fissure missions at level 150 instead of level 50, and that's fun. You know,
Yeah.
God, imagine doing Steel Path Kuva Survival. Like that's gonna be fun. I think that's gonna be a blast.
I look forward to that. I actually, yeah, I'm gonna have to do some Necros.
Yeah, it's against Grenier. It's against Grenier with no damage mitigation or no ability mitigation. They have a lot of armor, but they can't turn off your abilities like the Corpus can. So fucking bring out the big guns. Grenier are the best enemy.
So yeah, Reb and Pablo taking over development of Warframe because Steve is moving on with Scott to do Soulframe. I think that DE knew that this had to be, after the leadership change, this had to be a strong update. This had to be a really positive update for the community because, yeah, Reb is now basically in charge of development. She's now creative director. And it is, besides the business motivation for putting something like this out, I think, yeah, what you just said is more accurate. Reb, who's been, I wouldn't necessarily say listening to the community for the longest, but dealing with the community for the longest. Reb is the person who used to do the weekly streams. Reb is the person who always hosted the dev streams. Reb was the community manager, and Reb was the person who was visibly anxious on a number of streams when she was talking about updates and the community reaction to updates, because there have been lots of stuff that Warframe has done in the past that Omega and I have griped about, and I feel we were justified. But yeah, I don't think anybody else, Steve has definitely never been in the position where he has to address the community and explain why he has decided to do some changes. So he didn't have that perspective as Reb does. So yeah, I hope that I hope that all that dealing with the community and all of that positive and negative feedback that she has been the focus of, or which has been focused on her because it is her job, or has been was her job for years, is feeding into this, and we do get more of this. This is a good idea. Like, they are releasing new content. Call is new content, but behind that, I'd say like 70 to 80% of this update was just all reworking and rebalancing things for existing content, existing players, and yeah, I guess especially veteran players. Hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you look just on balance, the good and the bad of this update, on the good side, you have nerfs to OP meta and AFK meta. Great. You have fun new missions with our beloved friend Call. Great. Clem is still my number one BFF though. You have all these great mechanical changes, standardizing armor stripping across abilities, standard like dropping power strength requirements for frames. They're adding new build diversities. They're adding more content for endgame level players to bring out the big guns. All this great stuff. Really, the only downside that I see is the Archon boss battles, but you know, the DE's inability to create a good boss battle has been a known problem for a while. And honestly, for all the good that is in this update, my disappointment over that is pretty mild. I mean, it's like the sisters. It's like the sisters. It's like, all right, bust up the big guns. Let's go take our medicine. We're gonna be pounding away at this bitch for a couple minutes now. Let's go do it. And we do it, and we get the shard, and we shove it up a Warframe's butt and make that Warframe stronger because that's how the fucking game goes. But yeah, that's on the whole, I think this is a great fucking update for like Reb's first update as creative director. And I know this has been in the book or in the works long before uh her taking control was announced, but
Yes.
the transition to her has probably been going on a lot longer than before we found out as well. So
Right. This has been in the works for. This was probably something that was planned while the transition was also being planned. This is something. This is the culmination of probably months of just scheduling on DE's part.
I mean, it certainly would be presumptive for me to say with any certainty, but I have a feeling that Reb would have been just knowing that she was the heir apparent to Warframe, and that was the direction that the future of the game was going. I'm sure they let her have a lot of say into what went on in this update, and her voice was probably very much heard. And it was Steve's last chance to have his voice heard, and it was also her time to, take control and take the reins and say, here we are. So, congratulations to her. Honestly, it's a great update. It's a great start to her time as creative director of Warframe. It's given the community a lot of things that the hardcore veteran long time playing community has been asking for. Good quality of life changes. Yeah. A+ update in my opinion.
This was a good time. Let's take a look at those Steam charts one more time.
Fuck the haters.
Yeah, butthurt butthurt AFK players.
Yeah. Meta sluts are what they are. Every game has them. It's pretty much inescapable. Let them bitch and moan.
Your boos mean nothing to me. I've seen what makes you cheer.
They're making a lot of the player base happy.
Good shit. All right, so yeah, we spent half an hour or 40 minutes talking about Warframe. I think that's pretty good for.
Well, this
September.
is a big update. This is fair. This is fair.
Yeah, no, this was great. Good job, DE. A+. I would say, let's see, moving on, but because we have to move on, so we will move on. Moving on, we should move on to Overwatch 2, speaking of butthurt people.
Yeah, so this I actually want to speak about because...
Go for it.
As you all know, I'm kind of a Blizzard person. Not,
Really?
Warcraft, Diablo, blah.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, well, hey, you learn something new every day. I got to get that crap right to the vein. But they announced this week that the operators or heroes or whatever you want to call them are not going to be unlocked at the start of the game. That you will have a base set of heroes that you get, and then the remaining heroes or operators or whatever you want to call them are unlocked via the battle pass system. Now, if you pay for them, If you pay for the battle pass system, then you will get them unlocked. But if you don't, you're going to be 15 steps behind. Everybody who is a Blizzard apologist, in the WoW community, at least that I've seen, has been tearing them to shreds over this, because it's
Shreds,
straight
you
up
say?
to shreds. She
I just
damn
got,
it, he
I just got
broke
it.
me. But yeah, no, it's, I mean, Asmongold, who is probably the biggest apologist of them all, is just like, no, fuck that. Fuck that. They should be available from the start. And I agree. They should be available from the start. That's just the way that it should be. You shouldn't have to pay extra to get access to playable characters.
So
You know what I
here's
find most interesting? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, a little bit of background to this. This is all resulting from a leak from Overwatch 2. So this is not, we're not talking about current Overwatch. We're talking about Overwatch 2, which is due out later this year. And the reason that this is a big deal is because currently in Overwatch, part of the meta is when you're playing a match and you have a team composition, you go and you fight the other team, and you discover what their team composition is. So if you are playing a character that is not conducive to taking down other characters, as soon as you die, you can swap your character and respawn as a different hero.
Mhm.
And you can take that hero and you can go, and so this randomly, it isn't random, but you know, for all intents and purposes, this random ability to swap out heroes because certain heroes are better at doing certain tasks than others is a part of the big gameplay, the meta gameplay for Overwatch. So that is why it's a big deal. And it's not like you have to pay to get new heroes. Blizzard is trying to frame this as everything will be available for free as long as you grind it out. There will be a ladder, there will be rewards, it'll be the free tier, and these heroes will be available on the free tier. You just have to get to whatever step on the ladder it is to unlock that hero, and then you will have that hero for all time. The obvious problem with this is what I already stated. Team composition, you need to be able to swap out heroes, you need to have access to those heroes. If you don't have that, then you're going to be a step behind all the people who are spending real money to unlock the heroes in the first place instantly. So
Here's what I find most confusing is the inconsistency from the release that the quarterly update for Diablo 4 that Blizzard just released within the last month, that I was thoroughly pleased with and praised the way that they are structuring their battle pass, which is the paid tier gets access to more glitter along the way, but no pay for power. The things that do reward power in the battle pass are rewarded to the free tier, and the people who have the paid tier must reach that same level to unlock it as the free tier. So what is with the inconsistency between that model and what they're doing here?
honestly, I chalk it up to different departments. Just no cross-department communication, and this department is not.
Well, and then you look at the
Well,
way
but-
a game.
Sorry, I can't even chalk it up to that because the president of is Blizzard president that actually came out that said, Blizzard Vice President Joe Spector came out on Twitter and said, quote, addressing some of the incomplete info posted early about our Overwatch 2 Battle Pass, we'll be sharing all details ahead of launch, but want to confirm that new Overwatch 2 heroes will be available on the free track of the Battle Pass. So it's a vice president of Blizzard. I can't chalk it up to no departmental communication. This is just a fuck up.
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
we'll have
this will be
we'll have to
changed.
see. We'll have to see how it's actually structured, because if they come out and say like this leak came out and it's not in its finished polished, publishable form, it's going to be like the Diablo 4 Battle Pass where, everybody unlocks it at the same time playing through the Battle Pass. Everybody grinds it out, paid or not. If that's what it is, then good. That's okay. But who the fuck knows?
The other thing that people were questioning is what happens if you're not around for a particular season. You don't play it all during a particular Battle Pass period. Will you ever have access to these heroes again? And Again, Blizzard Vice President John Spector came back with a very ambiguous statement that said, quote, "We will have free paths to get new heroes in future seasons too."
I'm sure it'll be like...
Doesn't mean a lot to me.
It's like Warframe. You can buy a new Warframe outright with Plat. Sometimes they give them away for free. You can earn them. Or sometimes you just gotta kill the same boss over and over and again and grind out the fucking parts. Or
Yeah.
you gotta run the same fucking mission over and over again and keep pulling from the reward pool. You know, time and time and time and time again. Fucking Gyre, I need those goddamn parts.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm never gonna get Gyre, am I?
I got 2 out of 4.
Silver fucking drop trance my ass.
Dude, it's always the same drop.
But anyway,
Here's
yeah.
some endo.
Yep. yeah, here's 3,000 or 4,000 endo.
Alright, we can't keep talking about Warframe. Back to Blizzard.
Yeah. So yeah, Zero, anything to add about this bizarre news? This fucking bizarre leak?
Honestly, no. But it's... If this is the way that Blizzard's going to do Overwatch 2, they're going to... I mean, the game is already... Overwatch 1, I played for like a week and was like, okay, well, I'm done. I can't get behind their thought process on this. I just can't.
I don't really understand the thinking either.
Luckily, the WARCRAFT team isn't implementing any type of battle pass system. Every season, new shit's added. That's it. It's hard to add a battle pass into an MMO, but I'm sure if anybody's gonna fucking do it, it will be Blizzard. But at the same time, it's one of those things where I don't foresee that being a thing.
Well, it's just okay. So from my limited experience playing Overwatch, which I did with Leetness way back in the day, we had a lot of fun assembling squads of nothing but Bastion, because that was ridiculous. Completely ineffectual, but gosh, it was fun. Overwatch has a shit ton of glitter attached to it. There are a shit ton of skins and badges and sigils and all the rest of this crap. Why in Overwatch 2 would you have a season ladder, or a season battle pass, whatever you want to call it, which is just basically a ladder of things to progress through? And that ladder isn't all about glitter. The game is perfect for that. Make that shit all about glitter, and paid tier just gets more glitter. That makes fucking sense. Why even throw heroes into there? It's... I don't understand. I don't understand the disconnect between the developers and the community and the structure of the first game. Unless they're really... There hasn't been any indication that they're radically changing Overwatch 2 from Overwatch 1.
No,
it's different for sure, but it's not radically different.
It's not even radically different. That's the funny part about it, is they're like, oh, this is going to be an all-new game. No, it's not. It's the same fucking style. They were going to have a solo mission, like your CODs and stuff like that, but they took that out. That's gone now. Because they don't want to deal with it.
So we're basically just back to original Overwatch.
Yeah, exactly. There are new maps, there are new game modes. Whoop-de-doo. They were touting it as being revolutionary, and it's going to completely change the way Overwatch is looked at in the esports community. No, it's not. It's the same. The only difference is they've changed some of the heroes. That's it.
Well, the difference now is that anybody who plays this competitively is going to have to pay Blizzard money. Jeez, I can't talk tonight, eh? He's going to have to pay Blizzard money because you got to have access to those heroes right off the bat. If you don't, then you're at a competitive disadvantage.
I have a feeling the people who play competitively are schlobbing at the Overwatch 2 Blizzard knob and are going to get all of that shit for free anyway. Blizzard's just going to say, oh, you're part of the esports community here. so that you can get used to it and make us a ton of money here,
Maybe.
because Overwatch League is a thing.
Yes, it is.
So, I think the interesting part is they are getting rid of loot boxes. 100% getting rid of loot boxes. That was the one thing that they are not bringing over from Overwatch 1 is the loot box system, but they're trading it out for a battle pass system and throwing all of the extra shit in there, and then you'll be able to go to a cash money shop and buy skins and tags and whatever from there.
See, yeah, that's what I was talking about. It does sort of make sense to turn the loot box thing into a season pass or a ladder thing, but at the same time, as far as a gambling mechanic in a game went, when I did play Overwatch, I did enjoy opening up the chests and seeing all the just loot fly into the air, all the glitters and sparkles and everything coming down, pretty lights, and then you were watching for what color the beam of light was, and you really hope that it's purple or orange or something like that, and yeah, so that was really fun. So yeah, but yeah, why the fuck not just transfer all the glitter over to the season pass? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I guess time will tell.
Well, and
to see how Blizzard reacts to this.
Another thing I will give Blizzard, switching just kind of quickly over to WoW, is they have driven people back to WoW Classic with the upcoming release on the 26th of this month of Wrath of the Lich King Classic. They have driven people back because they said, oh, if you complete the Death Knight starting area, we're going to give you a special mount that you can only get for completing that in retail WoW. And the numbers have spiked and people are actually staying on Classic WoW. I have it downloaded. I completed the thing, got the mount, and then deleted it from my computer because that was the only reason I was logging in. But
still don't
apparently,
understand why WoW Classic is so popular. I mean, I'm not a WoW player, so I guess I'll never understand. But was it really that good?
Yes. If you look at, actually going to pull this up, the subscriptions. Let's see here during.
I'll let you pull that up while we watch Omega make wine. Are you harvesting wine?
Yeah, this is one of my vineyards being harvested, and I've got all of the other ones ready to go as well. And it's actually a busy time. I'm bottling one type of wine. I just finished bottling 2 others, and I'm going to have a tasting today. And I've got a... what's going on at the warehouse again right now? What is happening here right now? I don't know. There's some sort of convention or something that I'm doing at the moment. This game's not the... It could be better. It could be built a little better, if I'm being totally honest. But it's good fun. So yeah, I'm just harvesting another vineyard, starting that process. I've got a couple vineyards here that I'm doing some pest treatment, well, some mildew preventative treatments, I should say. And to the next day.
Very nice.
I've got a national exhibition to do. Let's do wine tasting here. Here's a Dolcetto. Oh, that's not a good wine. That's a pretty bad wine.
Oh, it's a bad season for wine.
That was just a bad Dolcetto. Let's see. This should be good. I think this should be a good wine. Oh yeah, I'll take a 90. Yeah, I'll take that 7,000 bottles and 90. That's good. That'll sell pretty good. Just a little exhibition. We'll do that over here and start a harvest.
How the stats look, Zero?
Okay, so looking at the stats. Okay, so this is just going through from 2005 to 2014 when Warlords of Draenor first came out. if you, and the numbers haven't gotten as high as they were in Q3 of 2010 when Ice Crown Citadel came out. I'm sitting here pointing at my fucking screen like y'all can see it.
That's okay. I wave to my screen whenever I leave Discord.
But if you look, the peak popularity of WoW was at 12 million-ish subscribers in Q3 of 2010, Q4 of 2010. That was at the end of Wrath of the Lich King and the beginning of Cataclysm. But the numbers steadily climbed except for Q2 of 2009. That was during a content lull for them, but then it jumped right back up, remained level at about 11 million, and then jumped up when the Ice Crown Citadel raid came out in Q3 of 2010. People loved Wrath of the Lich King. It was the best expansion because one, it added a hero class that nobody had ever seen, that everybody always wanted to play, because all of the Warcraft 3 players were, oh my god, Arthas became a Death Knight. I want to play as a Death Knight. And that finally became a reality. And once that became reality, it spiked interest in the game. Because those Warcraft 3 players who always wanted to be a Death Knight but refused to play WoW because they couldn't, came and started playing the game. So the numbers jumped from like 10.5, between 10.5 and 11, and jumped up to 11.5 and 12 during Wrath of the Lich King. And then they slowly started to teeter off until Q2 of 2012 when they tanked. And that was because Cataclysm and then Mist of Pandaria were just awful, according to the community.
Which was the one with the pandas in it?
Mist of Pandaria. That was Q4 of 2012 all the way through Q3 of 2014. That's when I quit playing.
But you don't like pandas?
No, I stopped playing at the end of Mist of Pandaria, right when they announced Warlords of Draenor. I quit playing simply because I saw I got to where I wanted to. I had beaten the raids. I was done. So I quit about halfway through Mists, and then came back in the middle of Battle for Azeroth, which was 2 years ago, right at the beginning of the pandemic. And I had been playing since 2004 when they had it in public beta. I had been playing since then, and the game just lost its luster after almost 10 years. And then I stopped playing, got more into console gaming. Then Destiny happened.
Yes, and then the rest is history. Or Destiny. Dun dun
Nah.
dun.
You beat me. You beat me to it. I will eternally ever be behind you.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, Blizzard having a we're not entirely sure what the hell is going on at Blizzard. We're getting a lot of mixed signals. So that's all right. I just briefly want to move on here because I had a question for Masami and Zero. You guys had a conversation earlier. So I'll phrase my question like this. What's the deal with Pathfinder version 1 versus version 2 versus version whatever? And
version
also, yeah. And the background as to why the hell this matters at all. Zero, I think you're playing a game.
I'm prepping to play a game. I haven't actually gotten involved yet. I'm still trying to figure the system out. Essentially, Pathfinder first edition Pathfinder is 3.7 or 3.75, 3.5375 of Dungeons and Dragons. and then it fully gets into 3.75 edition when you get to second edition Pathfinder. There are feats, and it is not to build your character. It took my uncle and myself a total of 4 hours to figure it out, because the book doesn't do a good job of explaining how the character creation goes. But then once you get your first one fully built, start to finish, it's like, okay, I can kind of see it. Second one is a little bit easier. The third one, I'm working on another character right now that is a bomber alchemist. So it's very easy to get off in the weeds. He's a goblin bomber alchemist. So literally he creates potions and throws them at his enemies. That's
Isn't there a character exactly like that in Warcraft 3?
Maybe? I don't know. I never made it past the first 2 chapters in Warcraft 3.
Gotcha. Okay, continue, sorry.
But it's just very feat heavy. And then my uncle and I were hanging out this past Thursday, kind of, figuring this stuff out. And we set his book down and my book down side by side. Well, he's got a first printing and I've got a third printing. And between the two, they changed the starting equipment for sorcerers. Actually, for every class, they changed the pricing, and they removed certain things from the starting equipment. Like for sorcerers, okay, you're a caster. Some of your spells are not just going to be verbal and semantic. You're gonna need components. So in the first printing, your starting kit started with 2 belt pouches, which could be used as component pouches. In the third printing, not only did they completely remove the belt pouches, they didn't replace the belt pouches with a component pouch, and there's nothing even listed on the in the book for belt pouch or component pouch.
So what you're basically trying to figure out details, how details have changed from edition to edition, and there's no patch
reason.
Patch notes as there were.
This isn't just edition to edition. This is different printings within the same edition.
Yeah.
Now, D&D has had changes between printings, and they do try to list them in the beginning of new printings. And they put them online and shit, but like if you just have an old printing, you might never know.
Yeah. But at least Wizards of the Coast gets out there and it gets out in front of it and says, hey, we're changing this. If you don't end up hearing about it, it's because, either you aren't subscribed to the forums or it's just not something that you really care about that much.
Well, and Wizards is also just a much bigger company.
Yeah.
And capable of, interfacing on the PR side than I think Piazzo is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say that when it comes to components and spellcasting abilities, Masami is a very generous DM. Because the game would be a lot less fun if we had to, take a turn to unstop or revile, to reach into, use one action, your free action to reach into our object interaction, to reach into your pouch, and then use your action to unstop or, some magical component, and then you can cast your spell next time. That would suck. That would suck so hard.
D&D makes that really simple. You have a component pouch. It's an item you buy. It contains all the components you need.
Yeah.
It's just assumed to contain the components you need. Because you can just You don't need to spend time in a D&D game going to shop for your sulfur if you're a wizard and I need 10 cobwebs. DM, can I roll to find cobwebs in the basement? Like, you don't need to play D&D that way. So you buy yourself a component pouch, and you have your components. They hand wave it away. Or, let's make it even easier, here's a focus. Every spellcasting class has a focus they can choose to use if they would like to. You don't need any components except for specific spells that require them, because, specific always beats general in the rules. But generally, they made spellcasting way easier in this game. And among many things they made easier in this edition of Dungeons & Dragons, which is something people who like Pathfinder hate about this edition of Dungeons & Dragons.
I'll say for my spell casting components, Barry just picked up ash off the ground, and then he stole table salt from the inn where we had dinner.
I mean,
basically, and then he ground up some bone powder or something like that. I forget what he did. But yeah,
I mean, it was nice and flavorful. That's why I was like, sweet, this is cool. Like, if it's a cool moment, great. But yeah, in general, I love 5th editions. Like, penchant to basically be like, you have this thing, you don't need to go do this mundanity if you don't really want to.
I mean, I'm basically some sort of Far Eastern style fortune teller kind of character, and I use a magical focus because I ain't fucking around with buying components. And if there are special spells that I have that need them, that's when you deal with them. Yeah. But I ain't fucking with that.
Yeah, and it's like, I've been watching a lot of Critical Role, and I'm kind of simultaneously watching the end of, or I just finished the end of Campaign 2, and I'm working on Campaign 3. I've started Campaign 3. But Matt is a great DM. Don't get me wrong. The whole thing about the party having to have diamonds at the ready constantly, I don't think I've ever played in a D&D game where a DM was like, you have to have a diamond to use Revivify. It's never even come up. That
one though I can sort of understand, because that's kind of a powerful spell.
If any of you motherfuckers died and Ashrin didn't have a diamond, your ass wasn't coming back to life.
Yeah, most people I have played with, you better have the fucking diamond, or I've heard some.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've seen some people bend a little bit. Like if you've got like 300 gold worth of, expensive component A, maybe it's not a diamond, but something equivalent to a diamond. I've seen that fly, but you usually have to, like in all I've seen, you usually have to have the Revivify diamond.
Because it is a major component, though. It's supposed to be a diamond worth 500 gold.
So 300 for Revivify, it's 500 for Raise Dead.
Okay,
I think, different diamonds for different spells.
300 gold and 500 gold, that's not nothing.
No. That's not something you can just carry around 10 of and be like, yeah, we're fine if anybody dies forever. No. But the reason it's cool that they're diamonds is that DM can weave them in as quest rewards and stuff like that, and you don't necessarily have to do I go to the jeweler in town in every town you visit. Let me buy all your diamonds, good sir. So
I'll be honest, I think we've probably got, 2 diamonds right now, and I think Barry has them both.
Here's the thing, though, Zero.
I can check.
That tracks.
In all of Critical Role, Matt has killed a character the amount of times you could count on one hand.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's not like, it's not the way that he DMs that requires the players to have that. It's just prudent gameplay on the part of the players to have diamonds.
Also, his rules, he puts extra mechanics on actual, like, bringing people back too. So, like, sometimes his universe just doesn't let him come back, no matter if the players have the components or not.
Yeah, I think the rules are that, like, a battlefield revive will work, but any of the longer period after death, like basically revivify in the last minute or in the first minute after death. But any of the longer term spells, yeah, you have to make some rolls, and there's a chance that you don't come back to life, which is pretty dark, but I like it.
Good stuff. All right, so yeah, speaking of pretty dark, before we log off here, I'll say that yeah, all of our we've all been paying attention to this, and we all know exactly what I'm going to talk about. We are all praying for Cabot Ruiz, who is of the Washington Nationals, who was hospitalized last week with swollen testicles after taking a foul ball to the groin. You could say that he got 3 foul balls.
Rough.
Yeah, I was trying to look for a GIF of this so that we could actually watch the guy get hit in the balls with a foul ball. But MLB are fucking bitches when it comes to rebroadcasting anything, and apparently that includes GIFs. So, fuck you guys, and please get better, Mr. Ruiz. Poor guy. Jesus Christ, full speed baseball to the balls. That's fucking brutal.
My wine is up for Best Wine Award at the National Fair.
Nice.
Delightful. Press
Would you
next.
like
I want to
this?
see what happens. Yeah.
Like to see the unveiling.
Yeah. Let's see. My money's on you.
Hey,
Fuck
my old
yeah.
barb. That's my first wine. That was my first wine that I started on my first vineyard, and it has consistently been my best. And you know, I've had years where other ones were better, but over time, I feel like this has been my best product, and it's what I consider my vineyard's trademark line of wines. And every year is pretty good. These years, like I haven't gone below a 90, I think, in quite some time. So I'm pretty proud of my barber. But I actually just brewed 100. Oh, brewed. I just made a 100 pointer. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, this is a 100 pointer. You can see all about the vineyard, and you can see the stats of the wine here. You can see the type of fermentations that I did. There's that. You can see what they've been selling for.
Can you name your wines?
Yeah, this one's Old Barb.
Oh god, I would have the worst names.
Oh, you can name them anything. Yeah, most of mine are just dumb.
So,
Wait, does that say Gringo Lingo?
Yeah, because like the it's Grignolio or Grignolino, but it's Gringolino. Yeah, I read that as Gringolingo, so that's what I called it. And this one, the wine type or the grape type is Herbaluce, so I spelled it out as if I were Zero's neighbor. Yeah, just stupid names. I was making fun of people from Virginia.
Virginia or West Virginia?
What?
Why not both?
After that article, whoever posted that bullshit, I'm moving to West Virginia. What was that the other day? Omega posted something about Virginians.
Did
I
I?
think it was. I think,
Might
yeah.
have. I don't remember.
I saw you make the comments. I don't remember what the article was. That's fine. You want to go to West Virginia? Go to West Virginia. Everybody loves West Virginia. Bob Denver fucking loves West Virginia. Dead bastard. Sorry, I actually
Wow, okay.
I like John Denver.
I will forever respect John Denver for the smackdown he put on Tipper Gore.
Yeah. That was one of the most bizarre things that I've seen is just the recap of those hearings, because you had Dee Snider from Twisted Sister there, and then right next to her, right after him, was John Denver. You could not imagine two wholly different human beings, but they both agreed that this whole sticker thing was bullshit.
Yeah, I forget what their name was, but the bored moms who were trying to destroy the art,
Was it
the
mad or
existence of
something?
art.
Who knows?
They thought John Denver was going to be on their side because he's so wholesome, and he was not D. Snyder, who had an image as what he was.
Yeah, the rebellious type.
And they brought Frank Zappa, who is basically insane in a genius kind of way. They
Yes.
totally thought John Denver, clean cut, country, real American, whatever you want to say, was going to be on their side. He came on fully in favor of the First Amendment and was like, "You guys are wrong." And
what a surprise! The countryman from rural South does not appreciate the federal government telling him what to do. Yeah, shocking there.
Oh. So, okay, I found the article. It was that Virginia restaurant receives backlash for insensitive 9/11 menu.
Right, the 9/11 menu. That was amazing.
What the
that
fuck
was
is
so
this?
cool.
Awful. It is up. The restaurant is up in Manassas, Virginia, or as it is affectionately called by all us true Virginians, Manassas. I worked there for a very short period of time, and I fucking hated it. The place. I don't get scared very often being in cities, big cities. Manassas scared the shit out of me because Manassas was home for a lot of unsavory folk.
Yeah, tell me about it. When I worked in Manassas every day, when I came home, Manassas was sore.
But
That was a butt sex joke.
that was a butt sex joke. I appreciated it. It gets a thumbs up from me. But in breaking news, Teddy Gentry, band member of Alabama, arrested on drug charges. Let's see what the drug charges were. Oh fuck! It was just weed. What the hell? Why are you going to arrest? Why are you going to arrest a 70-year-old man? Second degree unlawful possession of marijuana and unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia.
Do you remember
Leave
those
him
shitty
alone.
cartoon? You remember those shitty cartoon memes from like back in 2005 where it's just like even the driver gets in trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, even the old man gets in trouble. But now you're carrying my weed. Even the police get in trouble. Oh, man. Whatever. Okay, so yeah, we can now successfully transition to the post-show. And enjoy legal drugs for those of us who live in states that aren't backwards as fuck.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Virginia is no longer backwards. Thank God.
Oh, are we all in weed legal states now?
I believe we are.
Hey, good on us. Virginia surprises me. South Dakota, not so much. But, yeah, Virginia, yeah. Anyway,
I mean,
good.
we were a heavily blue state until recently. So it surprises me that it didn't become legal sooner.
Alright, I'm gonna put a pin in that. Alright, anyway, so, yeah, it's been, anyway, it was an excellent week for gaming. Apart from the butthurt Chinese AFK players in WARFRAME.
Yep.
And
They're sad.
Yeah,
Big sad.
yeah, big wham, big cry.
Yeah,
And
big sad.
we're gonna leave it there. Yeah, good podcast. And we'll see you all same time. Oh yeah, thank you for people for tuning in on Twitch, the lot of you. And yeah, same time next week. Penis and fuck Putin. And were we adding something
Putin's
on
been
to the end
getting
of that?
his ass kicked.
He really has. It's
Like,
been
have
kinda
you heard
fucking
the latest? Have you heard the latest updates to the war? Like,
Yes, absolutely. By the
shit
way, our
is-
podcast is still titled that we're standing with Ukraine. We are standing with Ukraine. I'm keeping up on it every single week, and it's fucking great. This week was great for Ukraine. Last
It
3
was.
days
It was
were
fucking
amazing.
brilliant.
Yeah, they made him retreat, didn't they? I heard.
Yes.
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 They've taken
Yeah.
back thousands of square kilometers worth of their country, and they've liberated 20 of their city or towns, and at least 2 of their major logistics hubs that Russia was using to put troops forward. So yeah, even the TASS news agency, I had a discussion about this earlier today. Even TASS news agency in Russia has slipped up a couple times this week and called the special military operation a war. They used the word war, and I was just like, yeah, fuck yeah.
That's funny.
Fucking dolts. Yeah. Anyway, did we add something on to the end of this like last week? I feel like.
Something regarding Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fuck G.
Putin. Yeah. Fuck Putin. Fuck G. Fuck Winnie the Pooh. And yeah, that's how. And yeah, we look forward to your angry tweets and for you review bombing us on Twitch. However the fuck that works. I'm sure people will find a way. But yeah, penis. Fuck Putin. Fuck Winnie the Pooh.
Hey.
Later.